Welcome back to Tiny Grimes Games, and I'm here with another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes video. And today I want to address two things: the new Force Champions event and pre-crafting. Let's start with the Force Champions event. It's a pretty cool event. I like that you get guaranteed alias Sakura Shards. It's not that hard. I was actually able to do it easily on my alt account. I haven't done it on my main account yet, but my alt account is not anywhere near as geared up as this account, and it really wasn't a problem at all. I don't actually know who I want to put in here. That seems fine. I think we want a taunt. Han should probably be fine. All right. So what's cool about this is that you get a guaranteed set of Sakura Shards, which is great. She's a good character. She's a character I haven't really been able to use yet because she's not a free-to-play character. So it's nice to get a pile of shards over several days. One of the issues is, or one of the questions people have been asking is, should I go ahead and spend shards to refresh it? It is 75 shards. And I'm going to say no. From what people have said are the results that they've got, it's been pretty low. Like somebody did really well and got something like 4 Jedi Counselor shards. And it's like, if you're going to get 4 shards of a character you're not desperately wanting, let's think about what does 75 crystals get you. And 75 crystals gets you quite a bit. It gets you like 1.5 refills, which if you're doing nodes that cost 12 is a like 11 nodes, and so it's something like, we'll say 16 nodes, which if you divide that by 3 is over 5. So you can predict who you're going to get and get about 5 shards versus randomly getting like 1 to 4 shards. So I think probably it's not going to be worth it to go ahead and do the refreshes. But you know, the first one of the day it's quite nice. Anytime, some people complain that they're not getting enough from these, but to me, when it's a free event like this, that's not that hard to do and gives you reasonable rewards, I think that's great. Yes, the refresh is probably not worth it, but the event itself is pretty great. So I've been having a good time with it. And the event is nicely situated also, where it's not so ridiculously easy, and it's not too hard either. It's kind of that middle ground. That last event was really hard. Like, you had to have a really good, diverse lineup to be able to accomplish it. This one, not really so much. There's a little bit to it. There's a little bit of strategy, but it's not anything overwhelming. Most people, I think, should be able to do even the top level. Okay, so while I play this out, I want to move on to the next topic. So the next topic is pre-crafted gear. And it's interesting because EA went ahead and released a statement about pre-crafted gear, which surprised me a little bit, simply because it's kind of like opening an old wound, right? Like, it happened a long time ago. People have still been sort of rumbling about it, but because they ripped the wound open, now people are really talking about it. And most people are kind of upset by what EA has said. So let's talk about what exactly they said. So first of all, they talked about how widespread was it, and they really downplay how widespread it was, and that's kind of the part that bothers me the most. So they said that less than half of 1% of level eligible players pre-crafted, and the average number of items pre-crafted was less than 1.5. So if you just look at that sort of without thinking about it, that doesn't sound like very much, right? Like, not that many people were pre-crafted, and when they did, they didn't pre-craft much gear. And I think that's what they want to emphasize. However, I look at it slightly different in that, because of how the raids are put together, where the very top people have been getting, especially at the beginning, were getting substantially more rewards, it was causing a problem that whoever were the 2 to 3 people who were the pre-crafters in your guild, they had this tremendous advantage that has then continued on through. So while it doesn't sound as bad, and I clicked through that way too fast. Well, it doesn't sound quite as bad as maybe it sounds. I think it's substantially worse because when it's combined with the way guilds are structured, it just sets up this pecking order that's hard to overcome because pre-crafted gear sort of started it right at the beginning. And I think by saying it's less than half of 1%, that's sort of misleading, right? It's like there's a lot of players that aren't that serious about the game that were at the top level at that point because it'd been around for a while. So the people that did pre-craft, it was a large percentage, in my opinion, of people I knew who were dedicated to the game. And because I was out of town at that point. I didn't have access to my machine. I felt like I fell way behind, both on my server, which is all dedicated people. The top, 70 are all amazing players, and my guild, very dedicated. So I fell way behind, and I felt frustrated by that. And it's fine. It's something that happened. It's in the past. But I think the mistake is to rip the Band-Aid off and start gouging at the wound in ways that re-frustrate people. Like if you just say an error was made, we can't really correct it, sorry, that's bad. But I don't know, to me it's less bad than being like, not that many people did it. Okay, it was everyone at the top who you're competing with, but as long as you don't care that much about the game, it doesn't impact you, and that's fine. That is true. If you are not striving to be at the top, it's really not that impactful. And then the second problem, from my perspective, is the solution being that you can buy a piece of gear for $10. I don't know. To me, that's not the best solution. I think that's what's really angered people as well. To say that, okay, we've decided to address this and finally fix it. And the way we're going to fix it is by offering you to have the same gear as those people who pre-crafted. By the way, it's way too late. They've used those advantages to snowball it into huge advantages. But let's say it wasn't. You can equalize that by spending $10. And I don't think that's a great approach. I don't have a problem with putting the gear in the shipments. I think that's great. If people, it's the whole free-to-play model, right? Some people want to pay to be able to close the gap or get ahead, and that's totally fine. I have no problem with that. That's great. That should be in the game. But I don't like the way they couched it. They should have just said, from my opinion, obviously they do what they want. My opinion is you just say, hey, we've done this great thing. You can now have access to this gear for a limited time. You don't tie it into the mistake of pre-crafting and call it a solution. I think that's where people are so rankled over this, that this is being labeled as a solution. And I think possibly if they had to do over again, they wouldn't phrase it like that either. Because it really is a positive, right? It's a positive to say, here's another option for how you're going to get that gear. I'm probably not going to take that option as a free-to-play player. That's too pricey to spend that many crystals on one piece of gear. But for someone who is not free-to-play, maybe that is a good use of your crystals. I don't know. You have to make that decision yourself. But to tie it into the solution for pre-crafting, that's where things get dicey. So just remember, you have this opportunity. I don't really have anything to say about pre-crafting other than an explanation of why people are so upset, and to say I understand. I personally, it's the thing that sticks in my craw much more than any others, that this happened. There was no solution forever, wasn't really addressed. Now that it's being addressed, it's being downplayed in a way which I don't think is, it's statistically accurate, but anyone who's worked with statistics, you can make them say a lot of different things, right? So I think my explanation of the statistics fits better for my spot, though the statistics that they put out there does reflect the situation of somebody on, say, a newer server, or someone who's not striving to be at the top of their guild or at the top of the arena. You're not really impacted by pre-crafting. It's more for the people like me who are really trying to be in that spot and having a hard time overcoming the snowball effect. So I guess in short, the new event, pretty darn cool, decent rewards. I mean, if you're going to give me free Sakura Shards, you're not going to hear complaints from me. Am I going to refresh? No, I don't think it's worth the refresh. But free shards, keep them coming. Good job with the event. Pre-crafting solution, not a solution to pre-crafting in my personal opinion. It's cool, new gear in the shipments, but not the solution that they are billing it as. All right, so thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you next time on Tiny Grimes Games.